I'm long overdue for a Korean monitor test. This is the Wasabi Mango UHD 400, a 40-inch 4K panel.
So tell me what we're looking at with this panel.
Basically, this is a 4K, it's a Samsung PVA panel. That's the type of technology in it. It's got a nice 200 millimeter VESA mount. It has 4 HDMI inputs, 2 of which are HDMI 2.0, 2 of which are HDMI 1.4. The 2 HDMI 2.0 inputs do support HDCP 2.2, which is important. There's also 1 DisplayPort input. Now, if you're using the DisplayPort input, you will get 10-bit color from your control panel, which is nice. We'll do 4K 60 hertz. Can't really overclock it at 60 hertz. You can overclock it a little bit if you downscale to 1080p. So if you're running a lower resolution like 1080p, the monitor is a little bit overclockable, but it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm happy to report it is FreeSync out of the box. Hitting 50 hertz was no problem. 45 hertz was a little bit more of a struggle. I didn't think that the picture quality at 45 hertz was all that great, even though theoretically it kind of works, I guess. But, you know, 50 hertz on the FreeSync side of things, not too bad. FreeSync was basically plug and play on this. That worked pretty great. It also comes with the stylish reflective metal feet on the inside. And this is also the lightest Wasabi Mango panel that we've ever taken a look at.
It does have the plastic back, but the nice aluminum outer edge.
It is a nice sort of brushed aluminum, you know, sort of right angle metal. I don't really know how to describe it.
Fairly small bezel, nothing too bad.
Now the edges of this is the first Korean panel that I've taken a look at that has no edge shadowing problem at all.
That's
None.
right. I use the Wasabi Mango and the edge shadowing is pretty bad, but these corners look really good.
For the testing on this, you know, we did standard frame skip testing, we did standard scroll speed issues, scroll speed testing, that sort of thing. For gaming, it's still, you know, it's like any typical Korean panel. It's not really that great for gaming. This particular panel has a couple of different modes that you can set in the menu. You know, out of the box, FreeSync comes off, but you know, out of the box, there are a couple of different modes you can set. One of them was called frame rate?
Frame rate and
on or
FreeSync
off.
were both things we turned on that really improved the experience.
I don't know what frame rate is. Something was lost in translation. But if you turn it on, the frame rate seems to improve a little bit. And the picture quality seems to improve as well. I think it's turning off the preprocessor or something. But we were playing some Empyrean, and we got a black and yellow gradient, which is perfect for seeing what kind of motion blur we're going to get. And with that turned on, we had less motion blur than with that turned off.
Yes, and at a distance, things rendered in, they look better overall once we changed a couple of those settings. We also, it was very contrasty out of the box. We could probably improve that with a little tweaking. One nice thing about this one that's not always the case, it's already an English menu.
Yes.
Don't have to wrestle with the Korean for this one.
Yeah, this one came English out of the box. Although if yours doesn't come English out of the box, you'll still have to fiddle with the menu and find the English option. It's there somewhere, I promise. But yeah, this one came English out of the box, so I think that's pretty good. The menu on this one seems a little more organized. On the menu for this particular one, it reports real 4K 0405 VS. So I know the models can be a little different. The UHD 400 is actually not a new model, but I feel like this is a new revision of the UHD 400 because one of the other UHD 400s that I've ordered in the past, I think, was a little different. Maybe the menus, maybe a different firmware, I'm not sure. Just a quick note about the backlight. The backlight is a quote-unquote flicker-free backlight, but it's actually in the PWM kilohertz range. It's in the kilohertz range, the PWM is. So there is a little bit of flicker to the backlight that I can perceive with a camera, especially messing with the backlight brightness. But as far as the naked eye goes, I was not able to create a situation where I could see the backlight flicker with my eyes. So just keep that in mind as far as your backlight preferences go. There are some LED versions of this as well. It does have 2 built-in crappy speakers at the bottom. I mean, if you need just basic beepers, you can totally use the speakers at the bottom. But other than that, there's not really a lot to report. It's a Samsung PVA panel, which is an RGB pixel layout. Overall, it works pretty well. Overclockability, you know, again, like I say, is a mixed bag. For gaming, it's probably B minus, especially compared to modern panels. But for getting a lot of work done, 4K and 40 inches, it's hard to beat.
It is a nice resolution for the size. And coming from 42, I almost like this a little bit better, maybe, for productivity. It's a very good ratio?
Overall, the verdict, I think that if you can get a good deal that you're satisfied with on these is pretty good. Now, the thing to keep in mind with Korean monitors are that if you need warranty service, you got to mail it back to Korea. So you got to figure that in your costs. Some sellers on eBay and other places will pay the shipping one way. So you ship it to them and then they pay to ship it back to you. Other sellers, you got to pay shipping both ways. So you ship it to them, they fix it, and then you got to pay for them to ship it to you as well. So paying shipping both ways, I mean, that can be pretty expensive.
Yeah, it could be a quarter if you're paying one way, and as much as half the cost, because these are low cost compared to other panels. You could be paying half the cost if you got to ship it round trip.
But overall, it's a really solid panel. It's definitely, there's nothing in our panel that was a showstopper on the buy, and we got lucky. We don't have any bad pixels that I was able to detect, and no weird problems with this one. This is probably the 5th or 6th one that we've ordered, and no problems. So overall, it's pretty exciting. Sometimes the input lag with these is a little bit of a thing, so we also tried Rocket League. Rocket League seemed fine. It seemed responsive, especially when we turned the frame rate option. Overall, I mean, there's not really anything else that I can find fault with on this monitor. It's got a 200 millimeter VESA mount. I wish it had a 100 millimeter VESA mount, but it's light enough that I can make it work with a monitor mounting solution, monitor arms. So,
yeah, I think just if you're really, really serious about your gaming, that would be the only reason you would think twice about going in this direction.
I really like these Korean monitors. I really do. They're just such a good deal. I mean, they're not, top shelf, super amazing, super performing monitors. Don't get the wrong idea. But for the money, they're pretty good. If you picked up one of these and, whatever your experiences are, good or bad, let us know in the forums at level1techs.com. If you're thinking about getting one of these and you want to talk to other people that picked up one of these and you want some, sort of no-nonsense answers as to what's going on, well, hit everybody up on the forums at Level 1 Techs. I'm Wendell. I'm signing out, and I'll see you there.
I'm Ryan, and I'll see you there too.